All right, it's been 6 long weeks since the UFC graced our screens, and granted, to be fair, it was Christmas, it was New Year's, and maybe you took up some new hobbies. Maybe you were walking the dogs, spending time with your kids, or heaven forbid, spending time with your wife. Well, fear not, ladies and gentlemen, because this weekend, UFC 324 is back in your life, coming at you from the T-Mobile Arena in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas. Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy Pimblett for their interim title fight. Of course, there was another title fight. Amanda, the Lioness Nunes, taking on Kayla Harrison, the Bantamweight champion. But sadly, Kayla's out for a little bit. She needs surgery, so the new co-main event is Sean O'Malley taking on Song Yadong.
Seriously? I'm the co-main. UFC 324! I'm the co-main! So sick, dude! So sick!
Now I'm going to take you through the fights, and I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win. So we'll start with the prelims. Nikita Krylov taking on Modestas Bukauskas. Now, Modestas Bukauskas, this man is on an absolute tear. 18-6 overall. Yes, we know he got knocked out against Vitor Petrino. That was a little while ago, but since then, the man's on a 4-fight win streak, and he's knocking out or stopping a lot of people. The only person he went to a decision with was Ion Cutelaba. Now, he's taking on the very experienced veteran Nikita Krylov. Krylov's been around for a long time, and he's very dangerous. Kyokushin karate black belt. He's got submissions. He's big. He's strong. He's an angry Russian. But I tell you what, Modestas Bukauskas, if he doesn't get caught with something stupid, he will then be on a 5-fight win streak, because I think he wins this fight. I think training with Tom Aspinall and all those heavyweights up there at Aspinall MMA, that's going to serve him wonders. He's on a 4-fight win streak, and he's in a good place mentally. I think he gets the job done. All right, moving on to the middleweight division, and one of the scariest prospects that we have right now, Artemi Gauthier taking on the kickboxer from Russia, Andrei Puyaev. Now, listen, Artemi Gauthier comes from Africa, trains out of Manchester. Doesn't really matter, because he's got one thing on his mind, and that's putting you to sleep as fast as possible. And that's what the man's been doing. He's got a record of 9-1. In those 9 wins, he's knocked out 8 people, 1 of them on the Contender Series, and 3 of them in the UFC, and 3 of them in the first round. 1 shot from this guy is all it takes, and I think he's going to land plenty of shots. The man's only getting better. Trains at Manchester top team. They've got a top set of coaches there as well. Artemi Gauthier, this man is a prospect. Is he a champion one day? We don't know. Can he get past the wrestlers? We don't know. But one thing I do know is that he will get another knockout come Saturday night. All right, next up is a pivotal fight in the Bantamweight division. Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, we know Umar Nurmagomedov lost to Merab Dvalishvili. Came back in Abu Dhabi, got a good win over Mario Batista. I say a good win, it wasn't the most exciting, but he got the job done. 19 wins, 1 loss, the only loss to Merab. And why? Because he got tired. That first 2 rounds, Umar took it. He out-wrestled him, he outworked him, he outpaced him. However, over a 5-round fight, he slowed down and he got tired. Now, of course, he trains with Khabib Nurmagomedov. You know they were absolutely fuming. He's never going to get tired in a fight again. Anytime you get tired in a fight, you learn from it, because you never want to experience your lungs burning, your arms just exhausted, and your title just falling away from your fingertips and no longer realizing your dreams because you didn't put the road work in. You didn't push yourself in the gym, right? That's what happened. I'm not taking away from Merab. Merab's incredible, but he lost because he got tired. And guess what? This is a 3-round affair. I don't see him getting tired. And Deiveson Figueiredo, of course, the former flyweight champion, of course, a very dangerous man. And last time got a good win over Montel Jackson, a split decision. Before that, it was a couple of losses. Corey Sandhagen, he got taken down in that weird knee scissor slice situation, blew his knee out, and before that lost to Piotr Jan, right? He did beat Marlon Vera, Cody Garbrandt and Rob Font, but this is a step up. Yes, he beat Montel Jackson by a split decision, which is a decent win, but Umar Nurmagomedov is probably going to beat Deiveson Figueiredo, and in my humble opinion, fights Piotr Jan down the line. Khabib Nurmagomedov is already setting this up. Khabib's saying, listen, Jan, Umar, they don't like each other. They've got to fight. They'll end up fighting for the belt. I can't wait to see it.
Я думаю, что этот бой имеет большой смысл.
Umar Nurmagomedov will get the victory via decision. I don't think he'll get the sub over Figueiredo. He's too skilled on the ground, but over 3 rounds, Umar will take him down. Umar will control him, and Umar will be next in line for a shot. All right, moving on to the main card, which is not a pay-per-view. This is a numbered event going forward for free on Paramount TV. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this one. I am telling you now, this is going to elevate this sport to a whole nother level, right? More people are going to know about it. More people are going to be talking about it. And guess what? The fights start earlier now, okay? Only by an hour, but that is significant. It used to be 7 o'clock in California, 10 p.m. on the East Coast in New York and places like that. Significance of that being is that the fights finish at 9 in Cali and they finish at 12 on the East Coast. Think about it. If you're a regular dude, staying up to 1 o'clock in the morning, and if you're watching the post-fight, 2 o'clock in the morning to watch a sport when you've got kids and family and engagements and church or whatever to go to on a Sunday morning, that's hard. They brought it forward by an hour. Sadly, still doesn't help the Brits. You still got to stay up to stupid o'clock in the morning. All right, UFC 324 is here and it is shaping up to be an absolute banger with high-stake matchups and major title implications. Every moment in the octagon matters, and there's no better way to feel the intensity than with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers who bet just $5 will get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. No matter who you're backing at UFC 324, this is your shot to get in on the action. So as I say, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. And by the way, you can stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout where you can combine multiple bets together from the same fight. Or if you love the thrill of live betting, DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on star player props and in-progress fights right as they happen, making watching the fights that much more exciting. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, then don't worry, you can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings picks and have the shot to win cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use the promo code Bisping, bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. The crown is yours. That is promo code Bisping only at DraftKings Sportsbook. But regardless, let's get into it. Main card, we're starting off with another Brit, almighty Arnold Allen. This man's been out of action for a while. Last time we saw him beat Giga Chikadze. He's one of the best featherweights on the roster. He just flies under the radar. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves. 20 wins, 3 losses. Those losses, Movsar Evloev, very, very close fight. Before that, Max Holloway. Absolutely no shame losing to Max Holloway. They're the only 2 losses in the UFC. Outside of that, he's won 23 fights, okay? He can do it all. He's got good boxing. The man can wrestle. He's a tremendous athlete, but he's going up against the Lord, Jean Silva himself, a man that's returning after getting knocked out cold by Diego Lopez in a fight that he was doing quite well in. Remember, Jean Silva kind of was the future. He was walking through everyone, submitting Bryce Mitchell, knocking out Melsi Bagdasaryan. Drew Dober cut him up, sliced him up with elbows. So how's this fight going to go down? Well, it's an interesting one because Arnold Allen is very smart. He's probably taller. So who wins this fight? Well, listen, this is an interesting one because Jean Silva really can do everything at a high level. I think he's got better knockout power. He hits harder. He's probably got technically better jiu-jitsu. But I think when you put it all together and you look at the fight IQ and the experience and the hunger that Arnold Allen has, because he's been out of action for a while. And he has that little chip on his shoulder. You know, he's not an outspoken guy. He doesn't talk a lot of shit. But the man is very, very motivated. And underestimate Arnold Allen at your peril. This is going to be a controversial one, but I think Arnold Allen scrapes a decision here. I think Jean Silva's going to push the pace. I think he's going to catch him. I think it's going to be a war, but I think Arnold Allen is going to use all of his skills, his experience, his footwork, his jabs, his straight shots to stay away from Jean Silva, and I think he gets a decision. As I say, call me biased. Say, oh, this is Brit bias. No, that's me looking at both of these guys. I love Jean Silva. I think he's really good, but I think he's going to be a little hesitant because remember, against Diego Lopez, he rushed in a little too aggressive, and by rushing in, that's how he walked onto that spinning elbow. I got Arnold Allen taking this one. Next up, former women's champ, Thug Rose, should I say, Namajunas. Now, I love Thug Rose, right? What a career she has had and some such memorable moments. Remember, head kick knockout of Zhang Wei Li, right? She's moved up to 125, because, of course, she's getting older and making 115 is tougher. And what does that mean? It means that maybe she's starting to slow down. When you look at the record of her, yeah, last time out she beat Miranda Maverick, who's not an easy person to beat. She's a solid fighter, of course. Lost to Erin Blanchfield. She lost to Manon Fiorot. She lost to Carla Esparza, of course, in a forgettable fight. We'll call it that. After that, of course, she did beat Tracy Cortez. She did beat Amanda Hebas. So I'm not putting her out to pasture just yet. But this girl on the other side, Natalia Silva, I am telling you, man, she is on a 7-fight win streak in the UFC. Overall, she's got a record of 19 wins, 5 losses. But her last loss came to fellow UFC fighter Marina Rodriguez. That was down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and that was 2017. 7 fights in the UFC, and she's getting better and better. She is incredible at keeping the distance and the range. She's beautiful with the kicks. Remember the spinning back kick to Teresa Blader, one of the best executed spinning back kicks you'll see in all of mixed martial arts. And Rose Namajunas likes to operate on the feet. She's not really a wrestler style. I'm sure she's got jiu-jitsu and she can grapple a little bit. Of course she can. She's a former UFC champion. But Natalia Silva is only 28. She's on the rise. She's on a 7-fight win streak. And sadly, I think she beats Thug Rose. Going to be a great fight regardless. All right, moving on to the co-main event and the return of the Sugar Show. That is correct. Sean O'Malley is coming back after losing 2 in a row. Lost to Merab via decision. Then lost to him in the 3rd round when he got choked out. Now, it's been a little bit. He hasn't fought since last June, so he's taking some time off. He's taking about 6 months off overall, but he's coming back with a bang. Seeing Piotr Yan claim the title for Merab Dvalishvili has lit a fire in the belly of Sean O'Malley. It has said to him, hold on a minute, there is a path to me becoming the champion again.
Yeah, I mean, I think I go out there and beat Song. Me versus Peter at the White House just makes sense.
Because, of course, he has a win over Piotr Yan. Now, call that win controversial. Call it what you will. But he does have a win on the record books over Piotr Yan. And he knows that if he can beat Song Yadong, there's a very good chance that Sean O'Malley gets to fight Piotr Yan. If it's not Merab, if it's not Umar, if he can win one more, he'll be a champion again, okay? So make no mistake, Sean O'Malley's going to come into this one and it's going to look like vintage Sean O'Malley. Song Yadong's really good. He's a powerful boxer, but Song Yadong doesn't have the accuracy, doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the flair. More importantly, doesn't have the footwork and the reach that Sean O'Malley does. Of course, last time Song was able to go out there and beat Henry Cejudo. But of course, we had the whole eye poke situation, so forget about that one. He's beating people like Chris Gutierrez, though. Chris Gutierrez, on his night, when he's not having mental blocks, shall we call it, is world class. He's beating Ricky Simon. That was a really good one. Stopped him in the 5th round, right? Song Yadong has got power, but also they've got some opponents in common, like Marlon Chito Vera. He beat Marlon Vera, but it was a questionable fight. I know Chito was really pissed off about that one, and Chito felt like he won, and if I'm honest, I kind of thought that Chito deserved to win that one. Well, look at the fight that Chito had with Sean O'Malley, okay? And MMA math doesn't stack up. We know this, but it does give you kind of a gauge. Sean O'Malley's taller, he's longer, he's quicker, he's got a fire in his belly, he's pissed off, he feels he's disrespected, feels like he's forgotten about in his old news. He's going to come back with a bang. He's going to put on a classic performance. He's going to pick Song Yadong apart. He's going to use the reach and the range. He's going to dance around and use the footwork, cut angles, throw counter right hands, pick him apart, throw knees as Song tries to rush in. He's going to get the job done. Will it be a stoppage? I don't think so. Song is very hard to put away, but I do think Sugar Sean O'Malley will win. He'll get on the mic. He'll make a claim for a belt. And Bantamweight has just got very, very interesting. All right, moving on to the main event. The interim lightweight title of the world. Ilia Topuria has stepped away. Justin Gaethje is back in his 3rd title fight. It's his 2nd interim title fight, but it's his final fight if he doesn't win. Justin Gaethje said if he loses to Paddy Pimblett, he's going to walk away.
One more knockout. I went to sleep. Before that, I'd never been put to sleep. If I would get put to sleep again, I would definitely call it quits.
Justin Gaethje has had an incredible career. Of course, he's been the interim champion before, never the undisputed. He lost to Khabib. He lost to Charles Oliveira, but he has electrified and thrilled audiences all over the world. 26 wins, 5 losses. 26 wins, 20 by way of knockout. And he's knocked out some legends. People like Dustin Poirier. Fight of the nights with Dustin Poirier. Fight of the nights with Michael Chandler. Stopped Tony Ferguson in a one-sided savage beatdown, okay? And that was one of the last times we saw Tony Ferguson being a real threat inside the octagon, because Justin Gaethje just beat it out of him with accuracy, with power in his hands. He's got head kicks, he's got wild hooks, he's got beautiful uppercuts, he's got incredible wrestling, but he never uses it. And in this fight against Paddy Pimblett, he doesn't need to use it. He would be a fool to use it. You don't want to shoot in on Paddy Pimblett. Look at what Bobby King Green did. For some reason, he shot in on Paddy Pimblett. Boom, quick as a flash, the man was finished. He was tapped out, he was choked out, and it was embarrassing, right? Paddy Pimblett showed the world, do not mess with me. Paddy Pimblett's much younger. He's got less miles on the clock, but he's not a child. He's 31 years old. So he's in his prime, his athletic prime. He's got the strength, and now he's got the experience. Now, a lot of people have talked shit about Paddy Pimblett along the way, saying he's getting easy matchups. And to be fair, some of them weren't the toughest, right? He made his UFC debut against Luigi Vendramini, but he knocked him out. Then it was Rodrigo Vargas, stopped him with a rear naked choke. Jordan Levitt, a very good jiu-jitsu player, tapped him out as well. Then we all know the controversial one with Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon's not an easy guy to fight, right? He's a very capable fighter. Could have gone either way, whatever you want to say. And then it was Tony Ferguson, right? And he beat him by decision. And everyone's like, yeah, Tony Ferguson, man. There's no, you get no credit for beating Tony Ferguson. Well, you should get credit for beating Tony Ferguson. Look what he's doing in Misfits, right? And granted, all right, it's Misfits boxing, so who really gives a shit about that? But comes back, wipes out King Green with a triangle choke in the first round in 3 minutes, and then just absolutely destroys from pillar to post, from start to finish, just puts a beat down on Michael Chandler. And yes, of course, Michael Chandler hasn't fought for a while. And yes, of course, Michael Chandler's struggling to get victories. The man can't win a fight, it seems these days, to save his goddamn life. And there's all the reports that maybe he didn't train and didn't take the threat from Paddy seriously. I don't want to hear that, right? Doesn't matter. That's the version that showed up on the night. And Paddy Pimblett beat the shit out of him and made it look easy. It was one-way traffic. So how's this fight going to go down? Well, it's a tricky one for Paddy. It is, because I don't think he has the wrestling to take him down. And I don't think he has the striking to stand there and go toe-to-toe with Justin. If Paddy allows himself to get boxed into a corner, if Justin cuts off the cage and backs Paddy up against the fence and forces them to trade, Justin's got bigger power, right? Justin's got better boxing. That's what he built his entire career on. But I think if Paddy can use his height, his range, his speed, use his kicks, and that's another thing as well. Justin Gaethje's got some of the best leg kicks in the game, right? Inside kicks, outside kicks, calf kicks, head kicks, you name it. The man throws them all with nasty intentions, right? So it is a very, very tough fight. But when you look at Justin Gaethje, how has he been losing fights? Well, against Khabib, it was a submission. Against Charles Oliveira, it was also a submission. In little opportunities where he made a mistake and the other person was able to capitalize on that. I think in this fight, it's a dangerous matchup for Paddy Pimblett, but I also think it's one he can win. I think over 5 rounds, Justin Gaethje might make a mistake. He does have more experience, but he has maybe slowed down a bit. The fact that he says that this is going to be his last fight, if he loses, that's never good to hear. I'm not saying that he's got one foot out the door, and I'm not saying that he's not motivated, because anytime you say, I'm not fighting again after this one if I lose, well, then you make sure that you go the extra mile and leave no stone unturned, and you leave no excuses. You push yourself in training camp. So I think it's going to be the best version of Justin Gaethje, and that makes it even more dangerous for Paddy Pimblett. I do think, though, that over 5 rounds, given how dynamic Paddy Pimblett is, given how disciplined he is, given that Scousers don't get knocked out.
I'm a Scouser. We don't get knocked out.
He's fast on the feet and he just finds some way to do it. I mean, look at King Green when he shot in. I mean, that transition was absolutely beautiful. He does have flying triangles. Hasn't done one in the UFC, but he has done them in Cage Warriors. He finds openings, the slightest little bit, and he's going to take it. I think over 5 rounds, and this is, again, you're going to say I'm being biased because I'm English. I think over 5 rounds, Paddy gets this done, and the world's going to lose their mind. The city of Liverpool is going to erupt. The Scousers in the building are going to go absolutely mental. And Ilia Topuria he's going to be sat somewhere going, oh my God, now I've got to deal with this dickhead, right? And England will have its 4th champion. How about that? Or Justin Gaethje might go out there and knock him out cold. That is definitely a potential consequence. That is a reality that we might see. Justin Gaethje has that kind of power, and Paddy does make mistakes. He does leave his chin up in the air, and there is some faults with the striking, okay? He's got decent striking. The chin's a little high up, and he does leave openings when he attacks. But he's also very precise. He does commit with every strike. And I do think that in those kind of flurries, when he catches Justin with something, Justin moves in a certain way. He leaves an opening for an underhook or a foot sweep or something like that, takes the back, hits a triangle, whatever it is. He's very creative. I've got Paddy Pimblett winning by way of submission and becoming the interim champion of the world. What do you think? Am I out of my mind? Am I biased? Am I crazy? Am I underestimating Justin Gaethje? I just might be, because I would never have said this 2 years ago, that he would beat Justin Gaethje, but Justin Gaethje has slowed down. He did get knocked out cold by Max Holloway, and he also lost every round leading up to that knockout against Max Holloway. And he is 38 years old, and he's saying that this is his last fight if he loses. So for all of those reasons combined, one more time, Paddy Pimblett will be the champ. Anyway, let me know what you think about my predictions in the comment section, please. I'll be there in Las Vegas. I got to do my podcast, believe you me. Make sure you check that out. Subscribe, ring the bell. I might have already said that. Regardless, I got to go. Take care. Thanks for watching.